Hey guys, Ryder, owner of Point of Life Wellness here with you today. I want to answer a couple questions. I get a lot of people that say, Ryder, I have a tremendous amount of shoulder pain. It's stiff, it's achy, it hurts here. I've got a lot of pain in this front area, sometimes in the back of the shoulder blade. What can I do? So let's say you don't have a lacrosse ball, you don't have any massage canes. All you have is these handy dandy jazz fingers right here. We're going to show you today how to get into those shoulders, a little bit of the anatomy of what makes a shoulder up, and some things you can do at home to help alleviate your shoulder pain. So, first thing that we're going to do is we want to make sure structure equals function. If I'm trying to fix my shoulders and you're sitting slouched like this, all you're doing is fixing something that's broke from a broke position, which means you're starting off from broken. Which means you're trying to take broken, start from broken, and get less broken by being more broken. It doesn't work that way. So we want to make sure first that we're sitting up tall, right? That the back is pushed forward. We're sitting on the sits bones in the butt, right? And that the shoulders are where they belong. So to do that, we're going to go shoulders up, back, and down. No muscle involved. Not going up, forward, up, back, down as far as you can. Just let them go where gravity dictates them to go. Go up, take them back a little bit, let them drop down, and relax. That's where your shoulders' home is. So if you catch yourself slouching forward and you see these lines here, that's a bad sign. We should be sitting tall and have much less lines in our shirts. It's a good way of seeing up our shoulders forward. That in itself will save you thousands of dollars of massage, physical therapy, chiropractor, acupuncture, PT, all those things, simply because if you stay in this position, no matter what they do for an hour or two a week, is never going to correct the other 166, 67 hours in that week. So posture first, up, back, down, learn to sit in that position. Now, let's talk about how to actually correct some of these muscles. First thing we need to do is know what the anatomy of the shoulder is. The shoulder is a very complicated joint. It moves in every conceivable position that we can think of, right? It's meant to be able to move it all around, so that means it has a lot of mobility. Many people believe that the shoulder is a cup and saucer. Believe it or not, it's not a cup and saucer. It's more like a golf ball on a golf tee, right? They kind of sit on top of each other and they're made to move and change around and change positions in all different directions. So when we think about a cup and saucer being around the joint and lock into place, that's the hip. Right? Think about how much movement you have with your hip. It goes a bunch of different directions, but certainly not the freedom of motion that we have with the shoulders, right? So it's more of a golf ball on a tee, and it moves around in different directions. We have some muscles that come from the chest that go across the gap in the shoulder to the arm. We have some muscles from the arm that go up and cross this way. We have some small muscles, the deltoids, that go across the front, the middle, the back. And then on the back, we have our scapula that has a whole series of muscles that go from the scapula bone, that chicken wing, to the arm bone, the humerus, as well as from the ribs and spine up. So we got a ton of different muscles that make up the shoulder joint, right? So we're not going to be able to go through all of them. Let's give you a general idea of what you can do to help alleviate some of this pain on your own and manage some of your own symptoms and complaints. So first thing we want to do is work on the most superficial layer, right? Like an onion, we want to peel back those layers and get into the deeper root of the cause. So first thing we're going to do is a little bit of fascia release, which means we're going to smear our skin. And then you put your hand on your skin and like on my arm here, you can tell that I can move my hands while pushing my skin, and my skin will move certain directions, right? It moves certain ways more than other. This way, it moves less than that way. Here's a lot of motion. Here, not so much. I'm a little more restricted here. Left and right, I have a little bit more movement this way than I do this way. I'm a little tighter here, right? So in the shoulder, we want to do the same thing. Smear that skin around your shoulder. Find any areas of tension. If you find an area of tension, just smear and hold. And then release and check and see if it matched out. If it still hasn't matched out, we're going to add a little muscle activation in. So we're going to take that arm and just move it in some different directions. Doesn't matter which way. You don't need to know which ones are the good ones or bad ones. You're not going to do anything that's going to hurt it more. So we're smearing that skin, getting some active motion underneath. And like I said, it doesn't matter which way you're moving. Try all sorts of different positions and different movements as you're smearing that skin. And then come back to neutral and check and see how much more that range of motion is increased. You'll have a lot more fascia release there. After you do the big meat of the shoulder here, you're going to come to the front of the chest. I'm going to try to watch out for my microphone here. Come to the front of the chest, and same thing. Smear the skin in the front of the chest. Pull down from the collarbone, from your clavicle down. Move your head and neck. Move your arm around. Pull away from the arm towards the center of the chest. Check from the center of the chest out towards the arm. Check all the different ways you can think of. Get a little bit into the armpit as well also. And just make sure that all the skin is movable. Check down on your tricep, the back of the shoulder as well. Go down the tricep and check the skin and find those areas that there's tension. And those areas where there's tension, there's resistance, a stuck feeling, we want to make sure that we're putting a little extra pressure in, a little extra slide and smear. Not pressure down, but pressure as we're sliding. They're trying to smear butter. All right, so that's going to be our myofascial release. Then we want to start getting into some of the deeper tissues, right? So we're going to start off first with the pec. I like going right underneath the collarbone, starting at the sternum in the midline of the body, and working my way out. Just getting some pressure with my thumb straight into those tissues. And every thumb's width, you're going to press in and release. And you go 2 or 3 passes like that. In, press, release. In, press, release. In, press, release. Just following the edge of that bone down. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our arm out to the side. In, press, release. 2 times through that. And 2 times an arbitrary number. It could be more, it could be less. If it feels really good, do some more. All right, and then we're going to come down a little lower on the pec. Maybe switch our fingers. We can press up a little bit. Press up and in, up and in, up and in. I always like to think about where I'm rolling dough to. If I have tension in my shoulder, there's restriction here, there's a lack of slack, I want to add more slack by rolling the dough in that direction. So I'm going to take that pec muscle, I'm going to press in towards that shoulder, in towards that shoulder, in towards that shoulder, in, smear towards that shoulder. Right? And as I go out, after I do that a couple times, do the same thing, check at a different range of motion. Because as we change our position, the muscles are moving underneath our skin. We want to address them from a different angle. Coming in and pressing, in from the bottom, and pressing up. And then we're going to look at the actual muscles of the shoulder itself. There are 3 that come down. There's the anterior deltoid, the medial deltoid, and the posterior deltoid in the back. I'm going to try to get to all 3. And what we're going to do on these ones is we're going to pinch them from both sides. So see if you can find a hunk of muscle in the front of your shoulder. If you lift your arm up in the front, you'll be able to feel it in the front of your arm here. And it's a couple thumbs width wide. I'm going to start up nice and high and squish it. Squish it, squish it, squish it. Push down the center of it. Just imagine, like right where my thumb is, we're squishing and we're pressing back. Squish down, press back. And then we're going to go to the middle. You want to find where the middle one is. You're going to bring your arm up to the outside. And you'll find a big lump on the top. That's going to be the insertion of that muscle. And we're going to squeeze down both sides and press up the middle. And it's okay. If you don't know what you're feeling for, just smush around. It's going to make it feel better anyhow, all right? So there's no wrong way to do this. You're not going to hurt yourself. It's not surgery. Your arm's not going to fall off. So if you can't find the actual muscles that I'm looking for here, just smush around in there. It's okay. Smush around and then get to the ones in the back. If you can't reach the ones in the back, another great way of getting them is just kind of like taking your hand over the back of your shoulder, using your fingers like a hook, and just hooking back there and moving that shoulder back into it. Move that shoulder back into it. You can move the shoulder around, hooking those muscles, and using the fingers like a pry bar. They're hooking in the back, and that muscle is being pulled. And my fingers are stretching it. They're not allowing it to slide. The last thing that I love to do for shoulders is work into the armpit. This is a super sneaky trick because normally our scapula, our shoulder blade, is flat on our back. When I bring my arm out to the side, that shoulder blade actually comes out to the outside, which allows me to get a good handful of all the muscle that's hidden in between it and my body and around the back side of it. So I take one hand, I put it up behind my head, let it relax, and now from here I'm going to grab a big hunk of this wing here. My thumb's going to go into one side, my finger's going to squeeze the other side, and we squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. I'm going to come all the way down as far as that lat muscle can go, sometimes down to the bottom of our ribs. Right? And then I'm going to squeeze again, and just like before, move that arm around. It doesn't matter which way you do it. Grab a hold of it, move it all sorts of different ways. Try to find as many different ways as you can. So feel cool, you'll feel the muscle moving and sliding around in there. Then bring it back up, grab the next section, give it a good squeeze, and move it around. And again, you're going to feel all sorts of stuff moving in there depending on what directions you go. So play, explore, it's your body, you should know it well. Move a little lower, come back up, move a little bit lower, dig around, find all these little different connections and attachments that you can. And that will make your shoulders feel fantastic. It doesn't take anything more than time and your hands And with time, you'll be able to feel what's going on there a little bit more. Like I said, there's no wrong way of doing this, so just check it out. Grab into there, push around a little bit. Remember, first thing we're doing is pressing and smearing, getting some fascia release in there. The next thing that we're always going to do is go direct compression in first, right? Either squeezes or presses in. Then we're going to do some lengthening next. So we press and smear deep, press deep and smear. Then we're going to press in and get those pieces to move around, right? So press on that shoulder and move those muscles around as we're holding them down in different positions. And that's going to allow you to not only increase lymphatic flow, meaning your immune system is going to get boosted. It's going to increase your blood flow to those muscles. It's going to retrain your nerves to know where your muscles are and help block the pain signal. It's going to allow those muscles to get stretched out. It's going to allow the connective tissue around those muscles to move and slide and glide better. So it's really a super deep way of returning your body back to a place of peak state, of optimal health, and best performance. So check that out. I hope you enjoy. Give me your feedback on that session below in the comments area. And remember to like and subscribe and give me some thumbs ups on those channels. And I can't wait to hear from you. I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy.